What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I will be doing a technical analysis breakdown for strategy B with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see in the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So let's go over what the market participants are doing on the chart. Is the bears in control? Are the bulls in control? Who's in control of this market right now, and where is it headed in the future, most likely? Before I begin, make sure you guys check out my video description below for a TradingView discount. If you guys want to sign up to TradingView, a professional charting platform that I use every day for my videos, and if you want to use it without ads and it saves your data, then you can get a premium membership. I get the basic one because that's all you need. You don't need to have 1,000 indicators on your screen. The basic one is probably the best one. It's just simple, and it just gets rid of the ads and also saves your data for any chart that you want to relook at. So I highly recommend it. Highly efficient and customizable. I think it's a great platform. So link in the video description below if you guys are interested in trying it out. So let's take a look at MicroStrategy, or strategy daily chart. As you can see here, price is slightly down from yesterday's opening. We did trade up towards the 309, then we traded down to the 293, and now we're staying at the midline or the middle of the candle, right at the $300 level. Still have about an hour to hour and a half left in the market. So we'll see how this closes, but I don't think anything drastic is going to change. As you can see here, we're still fighting this level right here. I was expecting price to get above the 320 level, but I may just drag it down because it looks like maybe the 310 level is what we need to break through, because that's basically where price had a lot of resistance back here in early March. So it may be 310 instead of 320 that we need to see price pierce through and decisively break for this to be a confirmation of a resumption of the bull trend. Price looks to be trading outside of this trend line. So if you draw this trend line across the swing lows, or the swing highs, it looks like we're starting to get outside of it, which is a good sign. You can see that looks like we did back test it. Right here, we did back test the trend line for support. We're staying above the EMA. And this is a clue right here that this is much different than what we have seen dating back to basically, maybe even January, probably even December. So again, first, let me go over the lines first. So again, we see a break of the downward sloping trend line, which is a good sign. We're not seeing price fail and immediately reverse like we just saw back here in early March. So we're seeing price back test it and bounce off of it. That's a good sign. And we're still seeing price below the 310 level, which is not a good sign though. So you want to see price get back above it, decisively break it, and then continue to rally through that level. However, there is this bullish trend line in play right over here. So that is a good sign. However, again, like I said before, if price cannot break this 310 level, at the very least, you want to see price stay above the 280s. You want to see it maybe consolidate around this level. You do not want to see it continue to sell off lower. If we come back to that 230, 240 level, there's a chance that we go even further than that. Why? Because this confirms that this level was resistance, a very strong one, and the downtrend most likely will continue to drop down that price. So you don't want to see price get too low once again. You want to see price at least stay at this 280 level, 290, 300 level, and then probably break out higher. So that would be an okay sign. You don't want to see price get below it. So let me go show you guys what I mean by this looks a little bit different than what we have been seeing. So you can see that this EMA, this 21 bar exponential moving average, calculates the prior 21 bars and averages it out. I think it's the close, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, it's basically just the average of the prices for the last 20 bars with more weight on the more recent bars when it calculates, I think, the closes. So you can see that, or the price. And you can see that we're starting to get back above the EMA. So we did see price get back above the EMA right over here in January. So this was the last time we got back above the EMA with the full candle body right back over here. But look what happened. Price immediately, once it broke out, it started selling off sharply, and it was a failed push out. And in this case, we're closing above the EMA, but it looks like we're kind of stabilizing up above it. So it could show a change in structure in the short term for MicroStrategy. So again, I need to see a price strongly break above the $310 level, for me to be really bullish long term, or excuse me, short term. Long term, obviously, I'm really bullish on the technicals. It still looks pretty good on the weekly chart, but the short term is not flipping to being long term bullish just yet. I think bears are still holding out, and market participants are just not seeing any signs on the chart for them to be really bullish just yet until we see a strong break above the 310 level. Bitcoin also not doing so well, as you can see here. MicroStrategy is holding up better than Bitcoin. So we don't even know which one's more volatile. It might be even Bitcoin at this point. So you can see that price is below this downward sloping trend line, and at the same time, it's above this bullish trend line. And I said it before, we're probably just going to maybe ping pong back and forth between these two price levels, coming to maybe early April before we see a breakout higher or lower. So in the meantime, you can see that in the 4-hour chart, it looks like we did reach the target. So we had one large leg up right here. Price corrected lower. We saw the first attempt to reach the measuring target that failed. Correction, second attempt. Second attempt reached the target. As you can see here, this arrow is the same size as the previous arrow, and that's exactly where price sold off, and that's where traders took their profits. Now it looks like price is selling off, maybe taking back an entire gain and continuing possibly even lower. So again, just don't see a lot of strong buying, right? You don't want to see like this type of weak structure coming out of a low. You want to see big green candles, something like that. So we just don't see the buyer stepping in. Maybe we're going to form some sort of inverse head and shoulders like we did back over here in July of 2024 into September 2024. This was inverse head and shoulders. We had a shoulder here, and then a head, and then a shoulder, and then price continued higher. Are we going to see something very similar where we have a shoulder, a head, and then another shoulder, and then price rockets out higher? Possibly. And it looks very similar to what happened before. Market generally does do these repeating patterns. So I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe another drop in Bitcoin, a small drop in MicroStrategy, maybe to trick a lot of people into thinking we are going lower and then potentially reverse. So let's see how it plays out. But daily chart is showing lack of enthusiasm and strength by the buyers. Sellers are still holding up the market at these lower prices. Need to see a clear breakout of 310 for me to be short-term bullish on the technicals. Still long-term bullish, as you can see here on the log scale, because we are at the bullish trend line, and we're seeing nice rejection at this lower $200 level. But again, if price cannot break that 310 level, then obviously we can't be bullish, right, in the short term, because it can't get through a level. It needs to get through these levels. So I think the reason being is that there's this downward sloping trend line on the log scale that probably traders are still looking at, and potentially a measure move target. So we didn't reach the measure target on the log scale, but we did reach it on the linear scale. So we clone this arrow, you drag it down, and this target is right around the 212 level. So we haven't reached that yet. It's bullish that we don't. If we see a strong breakout of this trend line, it's probably game over for the short. So I'm looking for a breakout very shortly for MicroStrategy. I think there's still a lot more upside on the stock. It doesn't look like we have topped. If anything, this top right here, or this peak back here in March of last year, was higher probability of being a top than where we are right now. We had one leg up right here, second leg up. So we had a perfect measure move target basically met. And at a channel highs, that was probably the most opportune area for price to top and then collapse lower. So you see that you drag it up to the highs, maybe some sort of channel like this. And we are right at the top side of the channel. So with the measure target, me personally, I would have, if I held, in the past, I would have dumped everything I had right over here, because the technicals would have told me to get out of the trade. So I would have dumped everything here, and look what happened. Price still went up higher. So since it looks like it's going up higher, that tells me that maybe we are in a bigger channel now. So the channel got wider, right? The market is dynamic. It's not static. It keeps on changing. So maybe it's looking to be targeting a wider channel. And if you do that, again, that's in the 3,000s into maybe even the 4,000s. So let's see how bullish this thing can get. I think, nothing is really that bullish as of right now. I mean, yeah, you can find some exceptions in the market, but, like Coinbase, Tesla, Robinhood, I think maybe even Apple. Let's just take a look at Apple real quick. I mean, do these stocks really look that bullish? I mean, they're kind of hurting too. And this is a multi-trillion-dollar company. Look at this. That looks weak. Look at this bounce right over here off of a measure move target. You don't want to see that. So this is all one large leg right here. We clone this arrow. Boom, perfect measurement target. Typically, you'll see price reverse strongly off of these arrows, and we're just not seeing that. Not yet, as you know, so maybe eventually, but again, Apple is looking pretty weak too, and this is a multi-trillion-dollar company. It dropped already about 20%. 20% for a multi-trillion-dollar company. I mean, that just tells you nothing is really that strong in this market. So that was Apple. Nvidia, just as weak. Terrible, right? Decent sized drop. Google, I think there's also a massive drop as well. Looks like it's breaking through this trend line. And this is not looking that good either. So about 23%. Meta, let's take a look at Meta. Let's see how Meta is holding up. Another decent sized drop. It's not just MicroStrategy, guys. So it's not just related to Bitcoin. It's not just related to MicroStrategy. It's the entire market is looking pretty weak. And then I do the Spider as well. Again, pretty large drop. Is trying to bounce out, but it may just be a dead cat bounce for another drop down lower because the macro is looking pretty bad on the technical side of the Spider. So see what happens. I think MicroStrategy is holding up pretty well compared to Bitcoin. But if things don't change shortly, then we have to start entertaining lower prices once again. So all that for MicroStrategy on the daily weekly charts. Give you guys an update tomorrow to close out the week. This is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.